More stock trades in 1 year than Pelosi in her entire time in Congress. I mean, this is also bullshit, right? Because Nancy Pelosi did not do the trades herself. You have to look at Paul Pelosi. But even then, I'm willing to bet that Donald Trump's stock trades are way higher. But it doesn't even matter. Like, fuck them both. That's the defense Lawler used.
Affordability is the #1 issue, Congressman, for Americans right now. A majority of them say they continue to struggle to make ends meet. More than half of Americans say they can't afford to go out for a nice dinner. And in the middle of this affordability crisis, President Trump revealed in mandatory financial disclosure forms that he and his family reaped in $2 billion in his first year in office. The president denies he's cashing in on the presidency, but that number is stunning. More than all the presidents in U.S. history combined. Is that going to make it harder for Republicans like you to argue that he has their affordability first in mind and not his own?
Look, I've been very clear from my vantage point. Being in elected office is a great honor. It is a service. I am one of the few members of Congress that does not trade stocks. I probably have among the lowest net worth of any member. And I'm fine with that because I'm not interested in making money off of my constituents or this job. I'm interested in doing the job and serving my constituents. The fact is, when you look at these issues, and housing is just the latest example, where I led on this bill with Chairman Hill and Chairman Flood, 6 of my housing bills are in this package that will become law, whether the president signs it or not. And I am deeply focused on the issues that matter to my constituents and how to make it more affordable for them. You know, living in New York, I can tell you, one-party Democratic rule in New York has not resulted in affordability. Utility rates are up 58%.
Yeah, you didn't answer my question. You don't see a problem with the President of the United States making $2 billion in his first year in office?
As I said, I don't think people should be profiting in office.
So he shouldn't be profiting?
Nobody should. Nancy Pelosi shouldn't. She's made, you know, millions upon millions of dollars. I said nobody should.
Okay,
whether it's the president
you haven't said his name. You said a lot of Democrats' names.
Whether it's the president or, you know, former Speaker Pelosi.
Yeah, call his ass out, bro. Are you going to disavow his endorsement of you now? Come on, Lawler.
Pelosi, nobody should be making millions upon millions of dollars or billions of dollars. Obviously, the president has, you know, existing businesses that his sons are operating, and they continue to. But the fact is that, from my vantage point, I am focused on my constituents and the work that we are doing to deliver for them.
Congress.
He made 3,700 trades in just the last 3 months.
It's pretty hard to make money while everyone else loses money in a market. You either have to know something or there's something nefarious afoot. Like, the best example I can think of is Michael Burry shorting the housing market in 2008, making tons of money while a lot of people lost money. In that case, he made an informed bet. But you can also think of other times, like when somebody scams a bunch of people, they make money while everyone else loses money. And my favorite example of that might be SafeMoon, where people were told, oh, you're going to go safely to the moon with this investment. In reality, all those people lost money while executives sold and made millions of dollars. And the question is, which one is this? This is a chart from Reuters, who calculated that investors have lost about $2.28 billion. That's on the crypto projects of the president, to be clear, while the president has made about $2.29 billion up to the current day. And I know that's pretty shocking. And, you know, even I kind of am a little skeptical when I see calculations, you know, where are these numbers from? You know, who's providing these numbers? So that's why I was really happy to see that the new financial disclosure for the president has recently come out. It's 927 pages. And I decided, great, we can get to the bottom of what the real story is, at least for 2025. We don't have to guess. We don't have to go off anyone else's numbers. We can just look at the raw data. Right? And so I went ahead and I pulled up, you know, the 927-page report of the president's assets. And, you know, I started taking a look to see how much money was made in the crypto markets. And the answer that I came to, along with basically everyone else, like the Wall Street Journal, is it's about $1.4 billion. And in total, about $2.2 billion for the year of 2025 in total revenue.
Hogs will look at that and sincerely tell you he's just a good businessman. And it's ironic because, again, 60% of it is coming straight from either foreign investors and criminals, that he's giving pardons to, because there's no like tracking of where this crypto is coming from, or there's no like accountability towards that, right? And then the rest is just ill-gotten gains from weirdly perfectly placed bets in the stock market.
Which is about a 3.5x increase from the prior year before entering the White House. Previously, they made about $622 million, and now they made $2.2 billion total. Now, you'll notice that most of that money is from crypto, about 63% actually, and that's odd because, as I said, crypto
Odd. Yeah, crypto's down. How did he do that?
is down. It's a market that has lost a ton of value. You can see since 2025, it's gone from about 3.5 trillion or so to about $2 trillion, which is a giant loss. I mean, like most people who invested in crypto over that time period have lost money. So how is it that the president has not, in fact, has made most of his revenue for the year from crypto when everyone else is down? And this is where I want to introduce you to this market right here. This is the Trump coin. It's the official meme coin of the president, where we actually changed the SEC rules to, make some of this okay, by the way, some of the guidelines. And, you can see that it peaked basically right around the inauguration and has been.
Yeah. I think it was under Trump 1 initially where these meme coins were supposed to be treated like securities, and that was cast aside.
Down only ever since, essentially. Now the coin is worth $1.71. So, you would think that if the president holds a bunch of these coins, he would have also lost money, at least on paper. Well, actually, you can check the financial disclosures and to see exactly how much money he has made in the form of royalties. You can see it's $635 million. So how does that make sense? He's making money while his fans, the people who are buying this, are down massively. This is the strange thing about this financial disclosure. You really get the sense that the president has found a way to make a ton of money from a market that is down while he is up. It's like entirely bizarre.
Yeah, meme coin price jumps after launch. Meme coin price drops. Trump organization secures $2.29 billion.
And, he was actually asked about this. Like, there's all these reports about you've profited from the presidency, et cetera. And the defense has always been like, well, I'm aligned with you. I'm making money, but you're also making money because the markets are going up.
Critics say you're profiting off the presidency.
Well, you know why I'm profiting? Because the stock market's going up. Everybody's profiting. If you have a 401k?
Yeah, it's strange because you did not make that money off the stock market. You made it off crypto.
How's your 401k done?
This is the cope we always see. Sure, the president's making a ton of money, but everybody's making a ton of money. So his interests are ultimately aligned with ours, and it makes sense. He's got some stocks, you've got some stocks, we're all going up together. But this is a totally different situation because, again, crypto is down. You can ask any of your friends who own crypto, especially the ones who own Trump coin, they are not doing well right now. Okay, they are not having a good time.
I mean, I'll be honest, like that one is deserving. Like I don't really feel bad for you. You know what I mean? If you bought Trump coin and you lost, if you put the house and the farm on the Trump coin and you lost it all, like you deserve it. Like that is the best example of someone who is too stupid to have that money in their pockets. Yeah, Trump investment accounts bought over 300 stocks day before major tariffs pause. It's truly pretty funny that the Trump family profits are kind of a one-to-one reflection of the money people have lost investing in their obviously an incredibly stupid investment crypto products and stocks. Yeah, you got conned. You got straight up conned. But honestly, can you even call it a con? He might as well have said, I'm going to f*** you. This is the I'm going to f*** you coin. This is the you're going to lose all your money coin. And people still were like, no, he deserves it. He's going to put that money to better use, my president.
Our highest government official in the land is making billions of dollars in income. It's a very odd thing. It's like what you expect almost from Coinbase or like Kraken, people who make money from just the fees, because ultimately what they care about is trading volume. So they can still make money even in a down market, but pretty much everyone else is going to get screwed. Funny enough, someone actually looked at the financials of Coinbase and they found out that Trump out-earned the biggest listed crypto US firms in 2025, showing that he made about $1.4 billion and Coinbase made $1.26 billion. Now remember, this is a company that's sole job is to sell crypto, have you trade crypto. They have thousands of employees, and they made less, which I think is just the craziest statistic out of this whole thing. Even though, it's probably not apples to apples.
Yeah, these are the guys who are like, the taxes are theft, by the way. It's like, bitch, you literally opened your wallet voluntarily to this guy.
Right? There's a difference between, the earnings of a company versus a president's financial disclosure statement. I'll just say that right up front. But it is wild to think about. You've got a company whose sole job it is to sell crypto, do all this kind of stuff, getting out-grifted by a guy who launches a meme coin right before running for president. I have to ask, is this the new normal? Can we just expect that every president will have a...
Yeah, it is a dark money contribution scheme, and it's also international. That's the biggest difference, is that this is all... A lot of this stuff is just bribes, okay? It's bribes coming from the United Arab Emirates. It's bribes coming from numerous parties around the world. That's why it's so bountiful. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of dumb Americans who did not get the benefit of bribing the president, but that's why that number is so vast.
Down-only crypto coin that they made hundreds of millions of dollars from. Is that our new normal here in America? I certainly hope not, but you just can't get around the hard facts that are in this disclosure. Here's one of the other major ways, by the way, he made money, which is the selling of World Liberty Financial tokens and various equity in that deal. They made hundreds of millions of dollars from that as well. And of course, don't forget the reporting that a big stake in World Liberty Financial was sold right before taking office. And it really feels like that's mostly the pattern here, is despite being, the crypto president, the guy who's going to take Bitcoin to the moon and safely guard your retirement plan. In actuality, when you see what the Trump organization actually does with most of these coins, they try to sell off pieces of their equity stake, somehow cash out for some real value, instead of holding on like the true believers. That isn't to say they don't still hold some of their stakes, but a lot of the profit here was because they sold out. And again, a lot of these things are down bad, like really. So, I just wanted to talk about this weird phenomenon that really you usually see in scams, although I'm not making any such accusation, where somebody can be way up while investors are way down. And sometimes that's because somebody knows something. Sometimes it's because people are being, extracted from, people are being grifted on. I'm not going to make a determination of which one it is, ultimately, because there's really nothing we can do about it. Actually, recently there was an interview with some reporters who have been covering, the new changes in laws. And what they talk about is basically there's no ways to punish this stuff anyways. This is Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan from the New York Times.
Is there something illegal going on in your view?
It's an interesting question because Trump himself was granted sweeping immunity, as all presidents were, with the Supreme Court's immunity ruling in 2024. So Trump is essentially beyond the reach of the law in terms of actions. I mean, there's a sense among Trump and his allies and his inner circle that with a very friendly Justice Department run by Trump's own former personal lawyer, with sweeping immunity from the Supreme Court, with an intention to use the pardon power more expansively, potentially, than any president has ever used it, I don't think that they feel any real concern about illegality.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried either. I'm not holding my breath for, any of this, even on the periphery, to be punished. Honestly, I think what is just the most interesting about this new era is how blatant it all is, how it's all just...
It's like they're not doing like the Clinton Foundation type shit at all. They're just straight up doing it in your face. There's no reason for discretion. There's a very clear-cut like pay per pardon scheme too. It's unbelievable.
I feel badly in a way for my kids because every time my kids do, if they invest in a stock or if they go and do a bill, anything they do, because the presidency is so powerful, so big, everything, if they buy a cupcake company, well, the energy to make the cupcakes is, sort of like, how's my energy policy? So therefore you have a conflict. Almost anything they do if they want to buy a truck, if they want to buy, if they buy an energy efficient truck, they have inside information. So it's pretty tough in that sense. I tell my kids, stay away from as much as you can stay away from, but they also have a life, they.
I tell them to stay away from insider trading, but they can't. What are you going to do? Here's the Trump supporter. Reuters tracked down Trump supporters who invested in his meme coin and lost money. What they say will probably not surprise you because they're so stupid.
These are two investors into the Trump coin, and these are Trump supporters. If Trump was putting his name behind it, it must be a legitimate investment. This is a woman who spoke to Reuters. She put $2,000 of her savings into the Trump meme. At the end of May, her Trump holding was worth less than $120. She now thinks it was just a pump and dump scheme. The second investor, Matt, a 45-year-old machinist in Indiana, put $40,000 into Trump family tokens. When a stock has presidential backing in a way, at least from his sons, you would think it would go up. Matt's shares have dropped 79% in value since he bought them for a loss of about $32,700. He does not blame the Trump family. He said he believes Democrats and anti-Trump investors are taking short positions.
That's right. Yeah. That is amazing.
The president, his financial disclosures came out, and it showed that he made $1.2 billion on cryptocurrency, on his personal cryptocurrency. Do you think that that's appropriate for the president to be doing while he's in office?
I actually don't. No, I don't think that's appropriate. I think, if you're in the office, take your salary, your investments are in the hands of third parties that you don't have any influence over.
I think he should just concentrate on being the president. I think he has enough money already.
I think he has enough money already. I do too, but those folks are people who voted for Donald Trump 18 months ago. And that interview was done by our White House reporter, Laura Barron Lopez. We're back.
They should have asked them if they're going to vote for him again, because they would have said yes, by the way. That's who these people are. That's what's so amazing about these hogs, is that they will openly say, like, yeah, Trump fucked a lot of people over. It's really messed up. I can't believe it. And then they'll be like, and I can't wait to vote for him again. Even if it's illegal, I will be illegally voting for him. I will be writing his name down because I have no mind of my own. I'm an idiot. I'm the dumbest rube, the biggest sucker of all time.